Hey guys, how's it going? I thought I would do another live sketch session with you guys today and base it on one of my favorite drawings by Pruhdon. You can see this. So I printed out in, I think it's 11 by 17 inch paper. It's pretty giant. And I'm going to be using the iPad to sketch him. And I think last week I did face with proportions and such. Before that I did hands, and so I thought it'd be cool to do a full figure today for you guys. Also on the iPad, because it's just easier right now since I don't have my studio built yet. They're actually in the backyard putting in the lights, which is pretty exciting. They're putting in the fixtures. The bulbs haven't come yet though, so I'm like chomping at the bit. They put the fixtures in, then he's going to get the power hooked up I think tomorrow to the actual studio, and then we're going to get the bulbs, hopefully, he said by Wednesday maybe. We'll see. UPS is handling all that. Awesome. So let me go to the iPad here. Cool. So again, I set up my paper, faux paper, on a different layer here so you guys can see. It's layer 1, and you want to draw on layer 2. If you draw on layer 1 and you erase, it erases the drawing paper, and you get to the white of the actual background color. And you can change any background color you want, black, white, anything. It doesn't really matter. But I want to keep everything on this layer 2 as I'm working. And again, I'm using Derwent pencils for my brush library. I haven't really made my own brushes yet. I haven't gotten into that. I'm going to show my video here. I haven't made my own brushes yet with Procreate. I find the Derwent one tends to be perfect for what I want to do. It does thick and thin. I always put my eraser also at the Derwent pencil so that they're kind of the same. I'm erasing away the same texture that I'm drawing with. Okay, so then we have this. And to show you guys kind of the sliders, I always have my slider at the 100%. Just so that I can, what you guys are going to see, I have a little tracer thing up here in the upper right hand corner. See, as I get at an angle, my stylus changes from this angle to this angle. And if I'm coming at it from a far angle, you see how thick it is, and then it gets thinner to the point where I can do thin lines or thick lines. And that's important with the iPad to be able to recognize so that you can get a variety of different textures and line qualities, thickness and thinness lines within our sketch. Cool. So I also have the only thing I really do change is the opacity. And because I like to start light and build up. Kind of how I work on a real drawing in real life is start very light and then kind of build things up. I'm going to put the reference in here. I got to find it now. Here we go. This is what we're drawing right here. So this is the Pruhdon. I'm going to probably do it about that size. I want to make sure I don't draw over the reference so you guys don't see what I'm doing. I might make myself really small here. Really, you guys don't need to see me anymore. But there's the reference. Cool. So how do I want to make sure this is a little bit so I don't cover it with the drawing. Great. And if anyone's out there and you guys have any questions at all while I'm doing this live, feel free to chime in and ask questions. I'm going to see if I can find, oh cool, there's some people right there. Hey Levent and Rob, how's it going? I just saw the chat. Cool, so I'm going to kind of keep this into proportions, not really make it look exactly like what we have below. I'm not going to get into the white chalk on top of the sketch. I'm pretty much just going to focus on proportions and everything like that. So proportionally, starting off, I want to think about where the top of his head's going to be. I'm going to keep my marks pretty light to begin with. Where the top is going to be and where my bottom is going to be, right? Just to kind of plan out where my sketch is going to sit. All right, where's the other side? I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to make them a little bit darker. It's kind of neat to see the reference here, but then also be able to see the reference on the screen as I draw. Kind of neat. It's almost like a cool sight sizing kind of thing. Sight size is when you have something exactly the same size and you're looking back and forth. So kind of placing things on here, thinking about the thrust and movement of the drawing first and foremost. So just coming in with lines that aren't too thin or too thick, thinking about the curve of what his back would be, kind of what the torso is going to be. I really want to think about the large kind of shapes and think about kind of these like modules of movement around the torso and the legs. So I really think about the core of a figure drawing first and foremost, kind of working on where the midpoint of our figure would be, if they're standing or if they're sitting. So that way it's easy to kind of set that as our anchor point for the sketch, and just adjust the top and bottom, right? Adjust the legs, because if the legs feel like they're getting too long, I can bring those up, right? I can bring the thigh up. If the torso and the shoulders seem like they're too long or too short, I can adjust that easily, as long as I have that anchor point of the core, the torso, right? So, and that's also where a lot of like the core movement of a sketch happens, and the torque and the turning of a sketch. So I want to be very aware of that. Now with when I do a portrait, and I mentioned this in the video, the portrait drawing video and portrait proportions, is that I triangulate everything around the eyes. The eyes in my portraits, because they're close to being in the center point of the head, depending on if you're looking at someone from below or above or from the sides. Things shift, but for the most part, your eyes are in the middle of the full structure of the block of the head. And with a figure, it's our torso, or it's our torso, right? So eyes as an anchor, always kind of keep that in mind, and the torso if you're doing a full figure. When I was in school, they would teach us the body's like 10 heads high, or there's like 2.5 heads to the nipples, and all these different like kind of dogmatic proportions, because they're things that they tell you that are accurate when they aren't necessarily accurate. What is classed as the most difficult figure or portrait? Both are hard, both are easy. I don't know what I would say would be like that line's too thick. Would be too long, too hard, or not hard. I think that everything kind of poses challenges, but I think that I don't know. I love both. I think for me, figure might be a little bit more difficult because I want to do everything life size, and so when I'm working on a portrait, I can work on a manageable 16 by 20 inch canvas and kind of knock that out in like 3 or 4 days as a workshop. With the figure, I want to spend a little bit longer. And so I don't actually teach very many figure drawing classes. I used to. I used to teach from the model at St. John the Divine back in 2006, and that was all from the figure. And then I kind of moved away from that to doing more figurative and portrait stuff. So kind of getting this block, what is he kind of sitting on here? And it looks like it's a kind of like a barrel kind of roundness kind of shape to it. Just keeping it kind of easy here, and triangulating again from that torso structure. And I think I'm probably going to be on for about an hour today or so. I got started late because I'm trying to figure out YouTube and how. I guess I have 2 Gmail accounts and Google accounts, and it keeps the program I use to actually do the streaming here goes to the other account sometimes, and this account, so it kind of unlocks what's going on, and it's kind of frustrating. Where's kind of the ground level here within our sketch? We have this kind of the knee form, and I'm going to kind of show you guys kind of why I use straight lines as well while I work, because they're just a little bit more accurate in seeing how once we drill down into the detail of the piece, where I start to zoom in, right now I want to keep a heads up helicopter view, holistic view of the whole figure and how it's placed here. And then when I start to move into the idea of getting into the subtleties of the line work, then I'll show you guys kind of the idea of even using the straight lines to break up other straight lines so that it becomes smaller and smaller. And I've loved this figure drawing since I was in college. I saw this when I was in college and I was like, I got to draw this. And so I drew this on blue paper once, thinking it was on blue paper. And I didn't realize until I saw some more Pruhdon's actual drawings at the Met that they were actually on this kind of toned paper, which actually works really well for working on the iPad with the papers that I have. For the textures of the papers, what I use is I take old art books that I've been collecting and I photograph the, I want to ground this part of his body real quick. I take photos, like really high-res photos of the end papers, I guess is what you say, of the books, and they give me like really cool textures and colors and weathered. And if you look in the corner, there's like stains, coffee stains and everything. So I kind of dig that stuff. We got this foot. Let me think about what's going on with this arm here. Coming in from the side, it comes into the abs. That's cool. And nothing has to be specific yet. Just kind of shaping things out, trying to understand what's going on. What's going on here? Oh, you know what? I have a glove. I'm going to go get it real quick. I think I left that in the other room, where I keep leaning onto the iPad. I'll be right back. So I bought one of these. Haven't used it yet. We'll see how it works. I can lean on, I guess, these front two fingers, thumb, and this is so cool. We'll see if that works. Oh, it's weird. Cool. Sorry about that, guys. Hey, Gabriel, how's it going? So yeah, so now I think I can put my palm on here. Nice. Oops, it's still picking up. What's going on with this leg here? It's not working. I'm going to use some tape just so I can kind of hover over my sketch a little bit better. Thinking about what's going on with the shoulder, and yeah, let's get into the head a little bit because I've been kind of neglecting that a little bit. The neck. Where's the ear going to come in? Looks pretty good. Shadow shapes of the face. His forehead kind of protrudes pretty crazily, a little bit more so than what I think would be accurate. Structure of what the shoulder is doing here. Straight lines again, thinking about where the orbital cavity is going to be. Feel free to ask questions, guys, if you guys are out there and have any questions at all. Like I said, I'm probably going to go for an hour 10 on here. I got the idea also to draw this. Oh, cool. Thanks, Rob. It's pretty messy right now. But that's the idea, is kind of just to put things in and then double check, and maybe they'll be right. So I have my top of my head, this kind of sloped forward. I already drew this once, a couple nights ago, actually. I was a guest artist at an illustration school, uh, and I did a presentation on my career. So this was a lot, actually, for one night. I did a presentation which was about an hour and a half on my career, and then I did a drawing demo, and it was intense. It was a little too much, but I only had like an hour to sketch, and so I did a quick. I think I may have posted it somewhere, maybe on Instagram, the time lapse of the sketch. Thinking about this back foot, I didn't think about the heel. Yeah, the heel looks pretty good. Right in there. I really want to get that movement of the structure of the bones in there. I love feet. They're so fun to draw. What's going on with this other foot? Where's that kind of grounding it? That looks good. But anyway, I was teaching at this class, and I think I only had like an hour before their Zoom shut off. And so I was going to record it because they were asking questions. And because now doing this whole YouTube thing it's how do you capture content really well? And I totally forgot to hit record on the Ecamm Live software that I use, the broadcast software. And so I was like, well, it's kind of fun. No, it's not going to hurt me to sketch this out again, as long as I can find time and it's not too loud in the house, because right now, again, the studio is being built in our backyard. And so as soon as I can move into the studio, then I'm going to be able to film a lot more of these, and there won't be any time restraints or keeping the dogs in one room, which I can hear my poor dog is kind of whimpering to get out. So I'm literally doing this in our living room here. Awesome. So as I kind of block things in, I'm doing a lot of squinting and thinking about darks and lights right now. Like what's going on with this whole shoulder, with the whole sense of the back pulling into the bottom part of his leg. I'm using the side of the charcoal right now, charcoal quote unquote, the Apple Pencil, imagining it being charcoal. Thinking about what's going on down here. What's this leg doing? That comes up a little bit more. Yeah. It's helpful to have the reference be much bigger than the actual, than your iPad. So it's just easier to see things. And then when I zoom in, once I feel like I got a good sense of the proportions and everything and zoom in, then I could use the reference and I put it like almost right next door. So it's much easier to see. I made that mistake with a few of the other live feeds that I've done, where I didn't have the reference large enough, and I was kind of like squinting down really low to see what it was I was sketching. Yeah, no, Rob, the studio's, I mean, not totally my dream studio, but my dream studio. Like that, it's within what we can afford. It's kind of humble. It's not a huge space. It's about 215 square feet, which I'll take. You know what I mean? And it's just off of the backyard, so I'm still at home, and my commute is really only like 10 feet. I'm putting in the lights that I want, like amazing lights, amazing sense of I'm flooding the space and painting the walls exactly how I want them. And again, yeah, they're putting the fixtures in today, so I'm like super stoked. So I'm gonna kind of fill in this whole part of the back. You know what? I'm actually gonna maybe make that just a little bit lighter. I'm going to come in with the eraser here and just kind of knock this all, get rid of some of this line right there, just to soften it back a little bit. And right there. So thinking about that right now, again, thinking at this stage like a block in kind of thing, just kind of get things kind of in an interesting place that I can come back in and redraw. So thinking about this, I'm going to think about this back arm here a little bit more. My pencil is about, keep looking at, make sure I don't miss any questions, guys, is probably about 45 degrees away from what's going on here. So 45 degree. Kind of shape up what the arm is doing a little bit better. This tricep is really interesting. So cool. And then the bone point right in there. Right through there. So I'm using, I don't know if you guys can see, a special pen tip as well. It's okay. Makes a squeaky noise a little bit on the glass. And you can buy these on Amazon. I'll have a link to them. I think it was like $7 or something. I just reordered some more because I lose these all the time. And actually, this is the last one I have in the ones that I got like last year or something. And so they come in like a little small package. So I think they do that on purpose just to make it easy for you to lose them. Okay, I think about what's going on with this arm that's forward. Think about this curve of the bicep over top of that edge right there. See that curve? It's really interesting. It's cool to see it on screen next to the reference right there. This comes over as well into there, that kind of shape. This scoops forward. Yep, kind of notches right in there into the elbow. I love this drawing. It's so cool. Hopefully I can do it justice. And it's funny, it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how I draw this versus the drawing I already did. I see some cloth in here, just kind of knocking all that in. Abstractly. Because I think I don't think I approach everything exactly the same every time. You know, because different times there's like different emotional responses I have to the sketch, or so forth. This line I think is a little longer. I'm going to tilt my iPad just to get this kind of length of the leg. Oh, it's funny. So I'm using the glove for my hand, and what I'm noticing is that the pencil's slipping in my hand, which I don't love. I wonder if I can just take my fingers out and just use it. Maybe just my thumb. Sorry, guys. Or I just don't have to use it. In fact, I actually love not using it because I can get a little bit more. The idea is that I like hovering over the actual sketch. Hey Jay, how's it going? Happy holidays. Where are you coming in from? I forget. I'm in Albuquerque. Thinking about this movement right through there. What's going on with some of these, the back area, his back muscle. So I'm using again the, I'm going to take this glove thing off. Think about what's going on, this curve in here. Making notes for my future self, I always say. Oh, right on. Vancouver, British Columbia, right? My stepson wants to move there. He's like 14, and for some reason he really loves Vancouver. Oh, it's funny with Taylor Swift has been there, just out there. Is that where Oh, you know what? I think actually a friend of my stepdaughter's went to that show. Was that? I think that might have been her last show of the tour she's on. I think, as far as I know, I don't know anything about Taylor Swift at all. I know more about Travis Kelsey than I do her. Think about what's going on there. Oops. I always mess up the pinch on mine. My fingers don't really, for some reason the iPad is set for just recording what, for the most part, what the pencil does versus what, thinking about the hair. Comes in and over. Having all these things popping up on my computer. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Oh, so now that shifted. Okay, now we're back in action here. I'm wondering why I'm not seeing. There we go. For the longest time on the iPad, I had to ask a buddy of mine who's a tattoo artist. I kept erasing, my drawings kept turning to eraser. My drawing tool kept turning to an eraser for some reason. I think every time something about the back of the pen or something about the pen shifting would adjust the eraser to pencil relationship to paintbrush. So thinking about dropping plumb lines now on where parts of his body are and how they fall. And I'll be able to erase away all these construction lines. I don't mind having any construction lines as well, as because I want to get these things in the right place now. Really, again, in the very beginning of the sketch, it's all hearsay, guesstimates, as I like to call it. You're kind of finding your way around, really thinking about the full rhythms of stuff, how they kind of interact with one another. And then after this, I'm going to start thinking more about value, pulling value into it, as well as form. So as I come back in, I kind of want to fill this area in on his arm, just with notes and movement. Same with his back arm. And I'm excited that I will be able to do more traditional drawing stuff in the future when the studio is done. My goal is to really have a camera kind of set up in front of everything I'm working on. And I have a 18-foot wall by 14-foot high wall, and I'm going to be doing a lot larger paintings and sketches and stuff, and I'll be able to kind of walk you guys through that stuff on YouTube. I'm about 200 watch hours away from monetization, which is awesome, which means I'll be able to put a lot more content in and not charge at all. So it's kind of cool. This idea is that I want to be able to make content that's available, but then also free. So YouTube's great. If they're paying me, then you guys don't have to, you know. Although I do have an online eye painting workshop coming up well, there's some pretty cool stuff coming up actually. Eye painting workshop coming up January 17th, where I'm going to be drawing the eye and then painting the eye online. It's going to be great. going to be similar to how we're doing it right here, really high res. And what's really cool is last night I got this kind of bug. I got monetized to do a store, to put a store onto my YouTube channel. So if you guys look, there might be a store tab on my channel. Check that out. I've been posting some pretty cool um, famous artists that I love, my favorite artists, hats, which is kind of neat. So they've been embroidering. So this is from a buddy of mine's site called 5 Watt World, and it's an embroidered dad hat. And so I made some of these with Robert Henry, Rembrandt. I did one with Kath Kollwitz, as well as a skull that I painted. I put that on a hat. Really cool stuff. Definitely check it out. I'll get you 100 hours by myself by watching your old videos. That'd be amazing, Rob. Just set up a playlist. I think that this is what they do. If you have a playlist going, and it'll just keep cycling through, looping through sketches and content, that would be epic. But you guys don't even have to do that. I think it's going to happen. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. So I'm kind of stoked. Let me get back to the sketch. So yeah, I think I was excited to wake up this morning and have the 3,000 hours, which is hard to get. And now I need, the thing is that the watch time, that there's a live analytics that is 5 days ahead of the analytics from YouTube. And the 5 days has me at 3,800 and something. And thinking about this form right here, I love it. The guy's back muscles are so cool. And so in 5 days, hopefully, or I told myself I wanted it by the 15th. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. I've been making a lot of content, and I have another video I'm hopefully going to post either today or tomorrow on my drawing kit. So I have a drawing kit with General's pencils that they made me, and it comes in the mail a certain way, and then I kind of retrofit it or configure it a certain way that's even better. And so I do a video on how I configure my drawing kit for traveling. I love this kind of movement here of some of the trees that we have there. It's kind of neat. Kind of adds a good negative positive shape on his back here. Awesome. Cool. Sorry, I keep like looking at the screen to see what you guys are doing here. So the oh shoot, 100 hours by yourself. That's cool. The yeah, guys, feel free to ask any questions. I'm gonna start moving into the idea of the painting and kind of zoom in a little bit on the structures and such. Oops, shoot. Oops, sorry. Oops. This is fun stuff. There we go. Kind of take what we have and now be able to zoom in. Make sure we get this on screen. You guys can see it all right? Okay, cool. So I'm going to start in on the back, thinking about shoring up what's going on here. Oh, I keep touching the screen. Sorry, guys. So figuring I have a pretty good block in, I'm going to come in and start to chisel away at the sketch and start to clean it up. How this comes up into here. I'm going to erase away a little bit of what's going on. I think I missed someone. No, I got it. don't know if you guys hear that weird squeaking. Sorry. It's like a weird humming when I'm scraping at the glass a little bit. This comes down and over. Again, I'm focusing on that back because I just love that sense of gonna get rid of this line, cleaning it up. Cleaning it up. How are we doing on time? Cool, we're about 35 minutes in. Awesome. Do you think studying anatomy is important for observation skills alone? Wait. I think learning everything you can about everything is good. I think anatomy is good. I don't know if you need to know the exact name of everything, like the Latin name and position for, let me make sure I'm upright, of everything that is studyable for every bone and muscle in the body. I think it's great to know where they are, though. I used to teach, I used to do a drawing anatomy article. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, thinking about what's going on with this edge here, for our drawing magazine back in the day when I first started teaching. It was pretty awesome for them to ask me. I took over for Ephraim Rubenstein from the Art Students League, and it was like an article on the nose. And so I did all these drawings based around the nose, and then one was about the foot. So I have all these really detailed graphite drawings of feet and noses now. That actually is funny. I just found them in my garage the other day. They're all framed and everything. I should do like a fire sale and get rid of all of them. I'm going to simplify the shape in here. Why do they call that a fire sale? Everything must go. Thinking about the structure in here. I'll show you guys kind of what I'm thinking now, is just getting some of the darks in here. Jay asks, random question, what brand of easel do you have? Do you use Best or something else? I'm thinking about picking a Best Classic Santa Fe 2. The Santa Fe 2 easel will last you forever. They're great. They're like probably the best easel on the market right now. Now, that said, I have an easel that is cleaning up some of these edges here, which is cool because we can go over edges and just erase away. So we're not concerned with getting things accurate in the very beginning. My Santa Fe Best 2, I actually had one that I think I had it for probably 10, 15 years, maybe even longer. And then I switched over to a Hughes easel, which is a counterbalance easel, which I'm not sure if, unfortunately, the guy, I think his factory got ruined in one of the tornado or hurricanes, unfortunately. But Hughes easel, counterbalance, they're pretty incredible because they're balanced enough so that you just use your finger to push them across and up and down. Once you kind of lock in place the artwork that you have. I'm going to come in and work on this arm here. And so that's what I use. I actually gave my Santa Fe Best 2 easel when I moved out to Albuquerque away to a struggling artist who couldn't afford an easel from the Bronx, who now is actually a famous TikTok YouTube star, which is kind of neat. I don't know if you guys can figure that out. Post it in the comments. Who's been a friend of mine for a while and used to always hang out with us when he was in when he started college. And so I gave him my Santa Fe. I hope he still has it, or I hope he's given it away to another artist. That'd be cool if like the easel kind of passes down to other people. Think about this curve here of the shoulder. What's going on here? Simplifying this dark again. This is a small community, I think, artists. You know what I mean? We all hopefully have each other's back and are good to one another. I think the one thing that kind of gets in the way of that is scarcity theory. Thinking that there's only so much of so much, that if someone has some success or whatever, there's less of that for you. That's something I see a little bit of with some people. But for the most part, everyone's very supportive, and everyone's kind of wants to say different things with their art and are different levels on the path. Hopefully you guys can see all this, where I'm starting to kind of shape things up. Oh, what doesn't go goes on the fire's hail. I think that sounds right. It's really funny. I think I went to a friend's birthday party in San Diego once, on the beach in San Diego, and they were having the people next door to we were having a birthday party bonfire, and then next to us there were people that were having a bonfire of their own. This guy was having a bonfire where I think he said he was burning. He had just gotten out of a relationship and he was burning all of his ex-girlfriend's stuff. Kind of interesting. Two different types of party going on. Again, simplifying what's going on here, looking at the shape underneath the tricep. That looks pretty good. I think it cuts in a little bit more. Now I'm starting to get a little bit more specific with everything. We need each other's support now, the more that AI has devalued art in the eyes of No, AI is definitely a problem, but I think we're lucky that we're actually, I want to say we're making physical art, even though today I'm drawing on the iPad. The fact that you can make physical, tactile paintings and drawings today, just, you can't do that with AI yet, thankfully. Hopefully that'll be the case for a while. And even then, I think that there'll be kind of a backlash that says that like this was computer generated or whatever, and then people will want stuff that, real people, maybe not the art world, contemporary art world. I think that's all like trendy and whatever. There's the shock of the new and novel. But I think that I'm going to come in and just erase away all my notes in here. But I don't think AI is all that bad. I don't know. I used to think like I'm all about embracing new technologies, and I love digital art, obviously, because I'm using digital art right now to teach. And it's like, what are the pros and cons of using AI? I know some artists that use it for reference, and the stuff is really cool that they come up with. And I'm like, that's cool. I don't care how you get your reference or whatever. I'm not like a purist in any way, shape, or form. Let me get this to click in. You guys can see where I'm kind of shaping things out a little bit, keeping things just light versus dark right now. I'm going to come into the back of the leg. And what I think about working on right now is I feel like I got the torso in well, the structure for his shoulders and his arms. Now I'm like, okay, what part's really bad, quote unquote, in my eyes, and what part of the drawing is screaming at me? And that's this back leg. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to zoom in on the leg and start to sculpt that out. All right, again, using these, I was using an eraser, now I'm using a pencil. Come back with the pencil. thinking about this curve here and how this comes up into this part of the leg. Hey, gorgeous. You can let him out. This comes up over here, this edge. So I'm just shoring up some of the darks that are in the reference here. This is all dark through here. Simplifying what's going on here. I really want to get the sense of weight. Twisting my iPad a little bit here to get this dark. To get to come together here. That shadow shape under the leg is really neat. It comes into the leg. I'll show you guys kind of the situation that I have going on the iPad here. I have my tape that I'm using to move around as my hand because the little glove thing didn't really work very well. People on Facebook are already claiming AI generated art. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I don't know. I think that, or there's a guy, like, what is it? AI image of like an old man sculpting himself out of a wood tree or something, and that it's like an AI guy with AI art, and I don't know. I think there's always going to be like false stuff out there. I don't know how people are making money off of that or what they get out of that. Maybe clicks or views or something. I saw a guy on YouTube. This is crazy because I've been kind of I get obsessed over stuff. That's I think why I'm halfway decent painter. But there was a guy who was posting ESPN's content on YouTube, and then at the end it's like him talking, like it's just like a guy I think from Thailand or something, and I couldn't understand what he was saying because I don't speak Thai, but it was really interesting. I'm like, you're just using this content to grab people on ESPN and then showing whatever it is you're showing or selling whatever you're trying to sell, and I'm like, how is this guy even, how do they, I don't know if he's monetized, but he had like 400 maybe 700,000 subscribers. And I'm like, how? Oh, watermarking and copywriting AI. Have you seen the book called Drawing the Head by William Mon? I haven't actually. I have to check that out. My main resources for painting and drawing have been John Vanderpool's The Human Figure. Love that book. And also George Bridgman, because Bridgman thinks of things very blocky, chunks. Kind of what I started a little bit here in the beginning, thinking about the structures and everything of how everything is kind of chunky and blocky in the beginning, kind of like what you see in the leg, thinking about these forms, right? So that's kind of a great resource book. I think it's called The Human Machine. There's a couple different versions and different names, I think, for George Bridgman. I think there's like George Bridgman's Life Painting, George Bridgman's blah, 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 but they're all essentially the same content, just packaged in a different book. And you can get those for really affordable on Dover Publications, which are just paperback versions of what the original books were. I actually lucked out on eBay with an original, I'm not sure if it's first edition or second edition, George Bridgman's guide, The Human Machine, signed by George Bridgman. Totally by happenstance. Pretty awesome. It's like one of my prized possessions. That, and I also have a John Vanderpool drawing that I bought at a flea market once for $100. And these are like kind of lesser known artists, but for us, I mean, for me, they're like our influences and guides and people that are really impressive for us. So something like that doesn't mean it's not maybe even worth $100 or $200, but it's worth more than that to me. This gets darker through here. kind of shaping things out a little bit, making sure I'm up with the comments, guys. And in the comments, you guys could do me a huge favor. If you notice that I'm off camera drawing by accident, I do that sometimes because looking at the screen, like if I'm drawing like over here by accident, something gets covered up. I've been known to do that. What's cool also is that the iPad actually records our process, so I can show you guys really quick what's really neat. I again love embracing technology, so it's showing the time lapse of what we did so far, kind of blocking things in, thinking about the shadow shapes and dropping plumb lines in, lines everywhere. The structures of the inner structures of his torso. And so this is doing it in just over 30 seconds here. Pretty cool. 38 seconds. And we're back to where I'm at right now. So again, getting that leg in there, I'm going to kind of come in and get the other leg using my quote maul stick, my iPad maul stick. Thinking about this curve here, the back of the heel, this curve in here. Again, just kind of, I'm going to be softening up so many of these edges as we go and redrawing. What's this heel doing? That looks pretty good. The heel kind of comes up into there. Excuse me. I might have to go take a quick break to use the restroom. Let's see what time we're at right now. 51 minutes. That comes up and over. Probably won't get into exactly what the toes are doing, right? So it just shapes. And he's not that specific on what he's doing. This curves forward. I actually kind of love what I have right there. I like that kind of sketchy line. Kind of just accentuate that bone right there at the top of the foot. And I'm going to come in and knock that back, erase that away a little bit. Not that heavy. Keeping the dark on the bottom of the foot, right? Because that's going to ground that bottom part. Usually having thinking about composition and such, you know, like you want to have the darks be weighted within a sketch. Kind of cool. At the present, I'm trying to think what would be a cool clickbait title for this video. That's the one thing that I've been trying to figure out on YouTube is how to get people to watch the content. Try to do the best content I can, but then also how do you not trick people? Yeah, trick people into watching something that's super useful. This comes up and over a little bit more. Okay, what's going on with that knee? I saw a painting you posted on Instagram a day or so ago, and I gotta say, it is light years away from where you are now. Right on. Which, I think that was one that, on Transparent panel. I never finished that one, so I don't know if it's that different, but a collector was interested in buying it. I actually might leave this a little bit unfinished. Although I love that curve of that part of the patella right there. And this edge right there. And then how this comes in. I'm going to lose this edge on the arm a little bit. But thanks. I definitely, that painting was probably 15 years old, so hopefully I've gotten better. What's going on within the negative space? This is all dark. Oh, this, I am being covered. Ha! I caught myself. I was thinking, this is the structure of his stomach. This comes out a little bit more so than I have it. It's kind of small, kind of detail-y curves. That looks pretty good. Comes up to about here. Let's see what comes down. This dark dips down to here, thins out a little bit. I'm trying to do my thought process for you guys here. I'm kind of working on the torso because I want to think about how I love this curve right in here. How it picks up with the shadow shape and then it slides up. I'm going to come in and just soften that out a little bit. Again, soften out some of the line qualities. David Cassin's 100 Secrets in Drawing. I love that. I think I did drawing secrets already. I wouldn't put my name either to it. What I learned from all my teachers, maybe. Guys, if you're online right now, go check out those hats. I'd love to hear any thoughts on the hats in real time because they're pretty freaking cool. I'm just trying to figure out how to there should be a store tab. And then any ideas for other people? Like I have, I'm going to do a Frida Kahlo one. I'm going to do a Velasquez, which I already know the painting I'm going to use for the Velasquez ones. The self-portrait that's in Florence. Or not in Florence, sorry, in Rome. There's a Velasquez self-portrait. I think in the Capitoline Museum in Rome, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just, he's got the cool pirate hair and stuff. Oh, this comes up and over. This gets a little darker through here. I'm at the top of the screen. Hopefully you guys can see the hover of my thing. It might not be easy to see on an iPhone. There's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. I apologize in advance. Someone on one of the comments said that they couldn't see the cursor I was talking about, but they were on their phone. This comes down and over. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to show you guys kind of my thought process here. Yeah, so Jay, they're on I just got monetization, I was saying, on the store to add a store to my page, and they are in the there's a store tab, I think. Stream is good. Let me see. Actually, I can show you guys. Let me see if I can post this on the stream. Check that link out. This stuff is easier than I thought, the streaming. Coming into the foot. Okay, at this stage, I think I'm getting stuff kind of in. Thinking what's going on with the broader areas now. I haven't gotten into the face yet. I apologize. I will go into that too. At this stage though, I want to kind of come through and add a value to the whole sketch. And so I'm going to, my opacity is pretty low. I'm going to use literally at a crazy angle just to kind of fill in the whole drawing here. Just to kind of give it a little bit more tone. And what also this is going to do is I can come in now and start erasing away at the value, which is nice. Oops, someone's at our front door. Keeping even pressure. And now I'm going to come back in again, thinking about how this gets a little darker through here. what's going on with kind of the water. I'm not going to get into that quite yet. This gets a little darker through here. Just kind of establishing what he's sitting on. Thinking about the value, the hair gets a little bit, we're going to go in a little bit more darker there. The back, his leg gets a little darker. So just thinking overall shading now. Very, very loosely. This gets a lot darker through here, the back. Hope you guys can see that. Thinking about just broad strokes of dark on here. Okay, that gets a lot darker. I'm gonna try to recheck what's going on with that back arm. I don't love it. It's not inspiring joy. This gets darker right through there. Very cool. Thinking about what's going on with the shoulder here. Again, just kind of being really loose with the darks right now. They go a lot darker through here, kind of establishing a little bit more value. This area is all in shadow. More shadow. I'm okay going over the background a little bit as well. What's going on with these curves in here? What's up with the leg, right? So this part of the leg looks pretty good. Bottom part of the leg kind of comes up into the shadow, into the light a little bit. I'm overshooting the darks because I'm kind of softening out some of the line that I have set. With his foot, that comes in a little bit, thinking a little bit about there's more water areas. This is way darker. I'm going to come in and push that dark in just a little bit of the water and of the bucket that he's kind of sitting on, keeping that kind of loose. Getting those darks in again. This back part, this gets a little bit darker as well. This back leg kind of stays, oh, I'm going to darken it just for fun. Cool. So it kind of gives me a sense of coming with the eraser now and start to soften up where our darks are, where our darks meet our lights. Now I actually got to really focus on what's going on with his outside part of his arm, because I haven't been doing that. I'm going to make sure I'm vertical. I'm going to talk about like kind of where active and passive edges would be on here. So I'm going to start at the top with the bicep, and we have this kind of movement here. Very, very gentle. Curves up, and you see a little bit the shadow under his nose, which kind of comes, oops, again I gotta use my trusty quote-unquote iPad mall stick. So shaping up the nose a little bit because it's kind of falling into that area. I don't know if you guys can see me on the screen. I'm kind of just looking back and forth between the reference and the iPad. This comes down a little bit. Down a little bit more. Cool. Picks up with the bicep. That comes down a little bit to about here. And I'm using the, being very vertical with the phone, or with the the stylus. Hopefully we're still on. It'd be funny if I'm concentrating so much that I don't even notice that no one's even watching. That's happened before. Coming with the eraser to kind of soften up what's going on here. And also fixing some of the lines. We have this really cool light for the nose right through there. So you guys can see where I'm kind of shaping up the face as well at the same time as that bicep. Kind of neat. I'm noticing that this edge is so much softer and we kind of lose it. So I'm softening up that edge of that bicep. It's kind of neat. And at the same time, cleaning up my gestural lines as well. We want the gestural lines in there in the beginning to kind of get a sense of flow. But to use two values for the shadows. Not so much. I guess I don't really think of it as two values. I guess in the very beginning, I think I want to get light and dark. And then I want to kind of think about the subtlety between the lights and darks. So we got the second level here of the arm and that edge. It's funny, when I get darker, it's when I'm not sure about an area. This comes up. This is a little bit thinner and moves around right about there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see it a little bit better. And then we dive into this part, which I don't even know. This is kind of like I don't even know what part of the body this is actually, because it's kind of his stylization, I feel, of the drawing of the forearm. Because we kind of have this notch in here that's dark, that's picking up with another muscle, and I'm sure it's something real. I just don't know what it is. So there you go. Instead of making up some bullshit, I'll just say I don't know what it is. I see it though, which is great. So thinking perceptually, where you're drawing what you see as well as what you know, is super important. Thinking about the value in here, that gets a little darker. I wonder if I should do, I'll ask you guys this, maybe a part 1 and part 2 of this, where I really go into the detail of finishing it off versus starting. I don't know if anyone's going to watch a 3-hour iPad video, or not iPad, sorry, YouTube video. I thought I could get away with it without the, I guess you guys are watching. Because I can come back in tomorrow and spend another hour on here and really develop it even further. I wanted to do that with the portrait, and I didn't get time to. I almost want to leave the head how it is in there already, because I kind of like that. This is light coming in the bicep. Because what I actually am digging is kind of, I like some of the gestural qualities and lines and such that we have going. It's funny though, I hate this line right in here. I'm going to fix it. So see how straight this back line is? I'm going to put my hover over here. My hover right through there. The part 2 would be great. Awesome. Because I think we're already at 110 minutes or so. Let me just do this one little section of the arm and torso. You guys are nice. I appreciate that. This is so much fun for me. It really is. Just the fact that we have people like watching is like a huge honor. And like I said, I drew this a couple days ago, and I didn't have the time I wanted. And that's the thing. Now I feel like I can concentrate here a little bit more. The drawing's going to be really kind of a neat teaching aid. Just like I'm about to post, so I'm working on a painting on a guitar, and I'm posting how I prep the guitar and sand it and put the drawing onto the guitar. I'm going to probably film that later today. But I'm also painting on an amp baffle, which is a piece of pine wood. Another skull. The guitar companies want me to paint skulls, which I'm happy to oblige. They're fun. And I learned a lot about painting skulls. Sorry guys, I think I'm kind of chiseling things off camera again. 3 hours is too crazy. I agree. So the hand one was two parts, and I think that was good. Softening what's going on in here in the torso. Now my line quality is very similar to how I draw at home with regular medium. At home. I'm always drawing at home. It's I'm softening up this edge here because I'm going to redraw this line because I do not have that correct. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit on this part of the arm. Now, if you look on his part of the arm, it's a like kind of a swoosh shape that kind of almost tucks into the other elbow here, right? And then it dives. So what I'm looking at a lot of is the negative and positive shapes. So I'm looking at this entire shape here together to see in here, right? So what's going on in this shape right in here on the screen that I'm pointing at is kind of what I'm looking at to get the accurate shape. And so I almost I should cut this up. I would literally cut this up and put it on the iPad to be able to judge it right up against it. But I can't do that, but it's all right. I can see that I'm trusting that I have this shape well established, and I think I do. I'm kind of darkening it. I'm over darkening it a little bit here, and I see that I want to connect this shape with this part of the arm just really quick and can soften that. Said I was going to stop, but again, this is so much fun. I mean, as soon as I get off with the thread today, I'm going to go paint. Actually, I'm going to go work out. We have a little home gym in our house, and so I'm going to go maybe run a few miles or something. Be good. From sitting for an hour, sketching. Finishing up this arm right in here, again softening that out. Coming back into, just knocking that in really quick. I usually am guided as I draw by my emotional responses to things. But going back to this edge here, hopefully you guys can see where I'm at. OJ says, don't feel pressured to go crazy. Just to entertain at the end of the day. This should be effortless and enjoyable for you. Oh no, totally. This is so much fun. And actually, that's what's going to make it fun is if I do quit and I do a second day, I can really take this to where I want it to be. The last lecture I gave, I was saying I was doing this lecture as to an illustration class, which that was a lot of fun too, but I just didn't have time. And so I did very cursory sketch. I kind of not really jumped far ahead of what I usually do, but this will, I think, will be a more useful. Well, that was a good teaching aid too. I don't say that was bad, but this is going to go a little bit more in depth, I think. This gets a little lighter through here, kind of my thought process of moving things from light and dark and back and forth. Because as I come through here, everything I'm triangulating, if that makes any sense to anybody out there. This comes here. I'm finding landmarks and then moving those landmarks around. This gets pulled up into here. And so this is kind of that mid bubble right through here. And then I'm going to get the dark, hopefully on this part of the arm, and then I'll call it quits for the day. But I'm going to post another video today, hope you guys have a look at, on my drawing kit. All the materials I use for the drawing kit, as well as how I retrofit the kit after you get it in the mail. And the kit's a great gift idea for the holidays. And a workshop's a great gift idea if you know someone that's really into art. I have a big cartel page. I think all the links are in my bio here on YouTube. I love how this funnels into this dark right through here. I'm going to up my opacity because I'm kind of shading, kind of sneaking up on the dark, but I want to just kind of knock it in. And what's really neat about the Pruhdon is that he actually has these line qualities that I've learned a lot about within my own sketches to create value. And it's been something that I've really learned from him, studying his stuff in person at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The Met has a drawing room, which is really amazing. They have a card catalog where you literally can take drawings out and they'll put them in front of you. And you can sketch them. I think dry media only. They won't let you paint from them. But they have the Libyan Sibyl study by Michelangelo there. They have some really special stuff. When I studied at the League, I didn't really carry my phone didn't have a camera back then in the early 2000s. So I didn't get any cool photos of all that stuff. But I feel like life online just kind of started for me in 2007. Softening up these edges. Awesome, guys. So I didn't get to the face at all yet. I'm going to kind of call it quits for the day, but I'm going to come back tomorrow, probably around the same time, and work on tweaking it even further. Kind of come in and really, really kind of making it into something really beautiful. It'd be kind of funny. I'm curious, would this be something, because it's digital art, making a print of something like this for people? I wonder if that would be something that folks out there would be interested in. If you think that's cool or not cool, tell me in the comments below. What you guys want to see content-wise would be really cool. So do a little kind of side by side. Even at this stage, maybe I'll even go with white chalk on the painting, or on this tomorrow. Maybe I'll make it a 3-part series. Coming in on that part of that leg is really beautiful, and that part too. I know. I said I was going to stop. It's just fun. Can't stop, won't stop. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for everyone that showed up for the live. Thank you guys also for the folks that are watching on the video as it's posted. And in the comments, please tell me what you guys want to see me do. I know this is mostly drawing on the iPad. I also am going to start doing more traditional videos as well with traditional media when my studio is built. It's looking about 2 weeks away, and I am insanely, I see this part right in here I want to fix, insanely excited about it. And I'm going to probably do another studio update, and I'm posting another video on the materials I use for drawing later today. Lots of cool content coming up, and workshops, and just fun, stupid stuff like those hats and everything. Awesome, guys. Thanks again, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow with another live where we take this to the next step. Take care, guys, and I guess like and subscribe and tell your friends. I hope everyone out there paints well today. Take care. Cheers.